The Orphan. 5 spooky things you didn't know about the movie. Number 1. It was based on a true story. The film was released in 2009. The story revolved around Esther, an orphan who is adopted by a couple who recently lost their baby. When strange things start happening, the couple suspects that the girl is to blame for everything. Spoiler alert, we learn at the end of the film that the little girl is an adult who pretends to be 13 years old when she is actually 33. The plot of the film impacted many, but not as much as when it came to light that it was based on real events. Only instead of Esther, the woman is called Barbara Skurlova. Her story went viral in 2007 after the Czech Republic's media revealed one of the country's most heinous crimes. Although there are no official records of her childhood, it is known that she was subjected to studies from a very young age to determine why she could not develop like any other girl. Barbara was born with hypopituitarism, a serious condition in which the pituitary gland does not produce enough hormones for growth. As a result, the 33-year-old appeared to be a 13-year-old girl. Her parents discovered at a young age that she had some mental problems with psychopathic tendencies, so they decided to commit her to a hospital from which she managed to escape. Katharina and Clara explained that they had been duped by Barbara, who had already fled to Norway in search of a new beginning. There is a record in this country that she cut her hair, gained some weight, and changed her name to Adam. A family chose to adopt Adam. She escaped again, raising suspicions, despite being apprehended by authorities and sentenced to 5 years in prison. 13 years ago in 2009, Barbara Skurlova was extradited to the Czech Republic, and after 2 years in prison, she was released for good behavior. So far, the whereabouts of the woman who inspired the story of The Orphan are unknown. Number 2. It has an alternate ending in the DVD version. First and foremost, it is important to note that this scene is not the official ending of the film, but rather an alternate conclusion that did not make it into the final cut of the story. However, it could be significant if the 2022 sequel is a success, as it is the ideal way to justify a third party, although he is far too quick to talk about it. At the end of Orphan, you can see a confrontation between the killer girl and her new foster mother, who discovers after several mysteries that Esther is actually a 33-year-old woman with mental disorders, determined to get what she wants at any cost, and the meeting is ended by a brutal blow to the face. However, there is a scene that differs from the one in the film, in which an alternate ending gives the film a much more sinister ending than the original version, in which Esther returns to her adoptive parents' house and becomes enraged. She disguises herself as an innocent girl with bloody cuts on her face and then appears in front of cops who are about to apprehend her. Number 3. How Isabelle Fuhrman did her part. Actress Isabelle Fuhrman landed the role at 11 years old. She claimed she picked up a lot of her behavior from the adults around him, sharing in an interview, "I was observing a lot of people. I was making fun of my mom and her friends while I was watching them, and I went to lunch once with Vera Farmiga, and we were looking around the restaurant and I was watching these women and they kept looking at me. Like, why is this person looking at me?" She then added, "I was just looking at them to see how they crossed their legs or tilted their head or how they grabbed for their water. It just all worked on the day. It just came into place." She also added, "When I read the script, I was thinking about how she feels that she's the victim in a world that doesn't understand her. All she's looking for is love, and she has this dream of a perfect family with a perfect life." Number 4. The cast wore high boots in the prequel. Isabelle Fuhrman debuted as Esther, one of horror's creepiest children, in Joan Collet-Serra's Orphan in 2009. She was only 10 years old at the time and embodied the terror of an adult masquerading as a child. Fuhrman resurrects her iconic role in the 2022 prequel, Orphan: First Kill, at the age of 25. Director William Brent Bell recently spoke with comicbook.com about the challenging task of making Fuhrman look like a child, and new behind-the-scenes content reveals some of the sneaky tricks they used while making the horror film. Screenwriter David Coggeshall shared on Twitter, "How do you make a 24-year-old look like a child? For starters, put everyone else in platform shoes." Number 5. The plot caused a spark in 2009. The Orphan promotional poster depicted a maniacal child who, according to the synopsis, wreaks havoc in her adoptive home, attacking her new parents and siblings in a bloodthirsty rampage. But what upset parents the most was the line in the film's trailer, "It must be hard to love an adopted child as much as your own." Since the ad campaign, adoptive parents and groups have bombarded Warner Brothers with complaints, alleging that the film plays on the unfounded fears about adoption. Complaints poured in from parents and organizations dealing with adoption, foster care, and orphans who were disturbed by the storyline of a deranged and homicidal child. As a result, Warner Brothers removed the controversial line from the trailer.